Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Legends of Another World. I'm going to continue the low-level game from where we left off after defeating the Transient. So immediately after that battle, Harley and Amanda leave the party for a while. Of course I have taken the option to remove their equipment, which I didn't take advantage of in the main video series. But we're about to enter a section of the game in which there won't be any access to shops for a while. So it's very important, especially in a low-level game, to be as well stocked up as possible going into this. So I fought a few more battles with non-plants in the swamp just to get a little bit of extra money, but I stopped just before I would have gained the next level. And I've also already raided the Saria Palace and sold pretty much everything that was there, as well as the abilities I took off Harley and Amanda and Tara and Brianna's defense +5s. With the proceeds from all that, I bought sleep resists for Tara and Brianna, and a third one for Ivy, who's about to join us. A silence touch, that's one of the things I picked up in Saria Palace but didn't sell, because I need that for Craig and Brianna coming up soon. I've kept back 10 potions for healing in between battles. I've kept my potion pluses also from the palace, and with the rest of the money I've bought Phoenix Tears and also one sensor sphere, and in fact since I have just enough money I'll buy a second one. The reason for those is mainly for my off-camera test runs of bosses, because I would like to see how well I'm doing against the bosses so that I can make decisions about whether to persist at my current levels or go away and level up a bit. So, the next boss is Clunky, who is not hard, and so I don't feel the need to level up for this one. The thing is that Clunky has a fixed pattern. He will use radar and then attack the character he casts radar on. So I'm going to take advantage of that. First, while neither of them is hurt, use Breaker Attack for Weakling Meltdown. And he's using radar on Liana, which is excellent because she has the Stand Ground ability, which defends and also counterattacks. But when he uses it on Tara, so I'm going to keep my health stocked up as much as possible. When he uses radar on Tara, she just defends, I don't get the counter-attack. And immediately after he's attacked one of my party members, next turn he will use radar, so I get a free turn in which to attack him. Stand ground again, of course, because I'm now playing the version in which that only has effect for one turn. Oh wow, this fight is going very well for me. I had a test run in which he used radar on Tara every single time. And now he's going for Tara. I'm just going to attack at this point. Yeah. I was just thinking that I want to keep my potion pluses as much as possible. Wow. So, save up after that and I'll see you at the next boss. So, Ivy joins at level 10, and before the Illusioner battle, there are 3 mandatory battles with normal enemies. And they're pretty rough because you have such limited possibilities for healing. So I've already got through all of my potions. Ivy, of course, has Blessing. The item that teaches her Blessing is dropped by the Dainu in the tutorial battle, so you cannot miss it. But she has no way to recover MP at this point. I could have bought liquors, but I decided it was more important to buy Phoenix Tears. Who knows, maybe I'll regret that. So I've used Blessing to get through those battles, but I've kept back enough MP to cast it twice more. Thankfully, Namida has decreased the cost of Blessing to 10, so that at her initial level, 2 casts of charge are enough for 1 Blessing. As for equipment, I should really... Liana has the lowest HP, so I'll give her the HP plus 10 and Ivy the HP plus 5. Of course, everyone has sleep resist because Illusioner casts sleep and it's utterly debilitating. So we're going to need a lot of luck to get through this battle. So, Ivy, get charging as quickly as possible. I don't think Illusioner can be silenced, nor do I think Breaker Attack works, but I'll try it anyway. Oh, it does. And that's the problem with this fight. I have only sleep resist, not any other, not sleep proof. So sometimes he will succeed in casting sleep on all 3 members, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can, however, use Ivy to physically attack the party member next in line, and then that happens. And now I've just got to hope that he doesn't attack Liana in the time it takes me to get another Blessing up. And that's a reset. Of course it wasn't strictly necessary to reset because I do have those 12 revives, but when I get really bad luck like that right at the beginning of the fight, it's better to reset. So... and then that happens again. Now I'm just going to keep resetting until I get a better outcome than that. By the way, nothing happens if you answer the questions wrongly. You just have to initiate the dialogue over again. Now that's the best possible luck. It didn't work on any of them. Twice running even. Okay, so I'm going to charge up so that I'm ready to use Blessing whenever one of my members gets particularly low on HP, but I do need to remember that I only have 1 more Blessing, so don't use it too quickly. And Ivy's physical attack is not that bad, not like the other 2 mages. Okay, now's a good chance to use it. Ouch. I should probably wake Tara up. Oh. Or not. Two absorbs in a row. Can you... Well, at least I got this far, and that's the first time I've had to break out the Phoenix Tears. Survived with 2 HP. Fortunately, oh dear, say fortunately and then he does that. After this fight, I immediately have access to a save point, so it doesn't matter how beat up my characters get so long as I make it out of this. And I really don't care about that little amount of HP, so I will certainly take that result. So this isn't strictly to do with the low-level part of the game, but since we have to pass through this room anyway, I thought I'd say a few things about it that didn't really come out in the main video series. And the first is that Namida has now added this little black, I suppose you could interpret it as the shadow of an overhanging doorway, to indicate that there is, in fact, a room beyond this tile. So that's a very nice little touch. Anyway, we remember that this is a sort of base 4 calculator, and you may remember that in the main video series I reached the target number just by using the red buttons to increment the number displayed on the left. I didn't mess around with the green buttons at all. But if you realise that the red buttons add a certain number to the number displayed, and this green button starts out depressed, you might guess that the other green buttons stand for subtraction, multiplication and division. And using that knowledge, which is correct, I've tested it, we can see this as a kind of puzzle. The target number is different for each game. Once it's decided, it won't change if I leave the room and come back, but it is a different target from the previous time I was here. So the target is now 308. So if you like, you might want to pause the video and try to work out the shortest sequence of button presses to reach that number. One thing to bear in mind, though, is that unlike most desktop calculators, if I press a green button to select a new operation, it will immediately carry that operation out with the currently selected red button. Okay, so the solution I've come up with is 4, 7, still with addition selected, so that should give us 11. Now I press multiply, and that will multiply by the currently selected red button, which is 7. So that gets us 7 times 11, 77. Now I multiply
after we've escaped from this encounter. But I'm glad I got this encounter because I just wanted to identify these two enemies. Oh no, not these two. The one on the left is the Dainu. No, I wanted... And the other one is, of course, the iPod. That's unforgettable. Because later on in this video I am going to be talking about the different steals you can get from the enemies in this area. Anyway, we have 77 and we have multiply currently selected, so hitting 4 should get us exactly to the target. And the character at the back will give you a few hints about this room if you haven't solved it yet. Also, if we go down the left rope, this one was available before cracking the room. That gets us to the Cubes dungeon. And that answers a question I had in the main video series. About why there were hints for the calculator puzzle after the puzzle. And the answer is you can reach this room before solving the puzzle. In fact, the puzzle is completely optional. Just going to escape because I want to carry on saying what I'm saying about the room. We'll get back to low-level boss fighting soon enough. The calculator puzzle is optional, and so is the bowling ball maze. As far as I know, and I haven't looked very thoroughly because travel in that room is so slow, both of those are alternative ways to reach these chests, slow touch and enemy repel. So if you don't feel like solving the puzzles, you can continue with the story, but you will miss those chests. For the cube, I've made a slight change to my equipment setup. Before Illusioner, I decided to take off Ivy's HP plus 10% and give that to Liana, and then I had to redo Illusioner. And so those were not the way round I intended, and now I've put them back. Ivy has the slow touch because Cube can be affected by slow. I've left the sleep resists on the others because I don't have anything better for them. So the way this fight works, we just try to damage it as much as possible. Throw the poison dust because... Oh, that's unfortunate. Because there's no point saving it for Craig and Brianna, they are invulnerable to poison. Hope that slow takes as quickly as possible, and hope it doesn't use regen. And then just hit it until it goes down. If I lose either Tara or Liana, then it's not really a big deal. They'll just lose a little bit of AP. I will not bother reviving them because I need the Phoenix Tears for the Craig and Brianna fight. And I'm pretty sure I'll be able to take this down. Especially after having successfully slowed it. Oh wow, it hasn't used regen once so far, this is great. No problem. The Strength Plus and Defense Plus I will probably give to Alicia when she joins us. And it's good to be getting some AP from that because it's hard to get AP in a low-level game, of course, because I can't really get it without getting experience as well. Oh, some of these cost 120, whereas I think they were 150 before. I am definitely going to have Leanna learn Dark Attack for Craig and Brianna, because it is so difficult to get statuses to work on those two. I want to increase my chances as much as possible. So this is the other enemy I specifically wanted to highlight because it has a useful steal. Its steal is the Fire Touch ability, and when I said useful, all I really mean is, of course, that it can be sold for a rather cool 800, and one Phoenix Tears costs 300, so those are a pretty useful source of money at the moment. So Alicia joins the party at level 12, and that gives us access to another healing crystal just before the Craig and Brianna fight. It's quite away from the healing crystal to here, so I'm going to use up my one and only tome, which I got from a chest. Of course, after getting Alicia, I've raided all the chests in the area, getting a good supply of potion pluses, and I've also got a few more from steals from the random encounters. The thing is that to avoid experience gain, I just steal what I can and then escape. And now that I have Alicia, I could do that to basically get an unlimited supply of money at any time. It would be boring, so I'm not going to stay in one place and grind for too long. But anytime there's something I really need to buy, that's how to do it. Although, of course, that depends on having access to shops, which I won't have until after Craig and Brianna. But before that battle, it's time for the Semeo monster in a box. And I'm doing this before Craig and Brianna because their steal is a hyper potion, which I really want. So, in my main video series, I said that I basically considered this fight to... Oh wow, that's horrible luck. Now I'm going to reset. In the main video series, I said that I considered this fight to be an optional boss. I've changed my mind a bit because I understand the mechanics better, which are that each time you knock one of the Semeos out, they start with a very low HP value, I think it's 220. Each time you knock them out, they revive with HP equal to the damage you've inflicted so far. So if you hit them with a really strong party member like Alicia, that just makes them come back even stronger and they become very difficult. Also, they can cast Plague, which inflicts a variety of debilitating statuses. But the way around that is to prepare. So Tara has Silence Touch, Leanna has Slow Touch, Ivy has Sleep Touch. That would actually... well, no. Alicia's going to use all her turns attempting to steal, so it doesn't really matter who has the Sleep Touch. The main thing is that I'm trying to inflict Slow and Silence, of course both with those abilities and with Leanna's Silence attack. They are also vulnerable to Breaker attack, and once that's on, it stays on through their deaths and revivals. So the trouble with this fight is, number one, you can have bad luck with them targeting the same party member before you've had time to get a blessing off, and number two, the steal is extremely hard to get. It's a low chance steal, and Alicia doesn't have that many attempts before her MP runs out, so I might not be able to get a successful run of this on camera, but I am going to try. Okay, this is a new battle, and I got the Hyper Potion steal on my first turn. So after that excellent luck, I'm going to try very hard. I'm even going to give Leanna a Potion Plus rather than charging up Blessing, just because there was that danger. Alicia should not attack because she has the most damaging attack, so I really want to get out of this battle with that steel. I don't even mind terribly if it means I don't get the second hyper potion. I've got to have that one, and I don't mind using up potion pluses because I can replenish them. It's not a big deal. That sucks. I've got 10 Phoenix Tears. I can afford one. That hyper potion is just so valuable. Don't attack. I mean, don't blessing this turn because everyone's fairly high. By now I should be using Alicia's turns to try to steal from the other one. Okay, now's a good time for blessing. Pity that Ivy's HP is a bit lower than it should be. Ah, got slow. That helps a lot. I'm just going to carry on trying to take this one down. No, I'm even going to use Alicia's turn to attack because it's probably close to down by now. Potion plus. This is so tense because it took so many attempts just to get that steel, and if I don't make it out of this in one piece, I've got to do all of that again. Oh no, 1400 and that wasn't enough to finish her off. This is turning into a disaster. Right, Alicia, don't attack anymore, just potions. Okay, I got the second hyper potion. That frees up Alicia to, well, I don't know. If I can just get one of them down, this will be easier. Finally. Okay. Okay. I can do this. He's under silence at the moment. Use another potion plus. Charge up ready for another blessing. And breaker attack. Don't know if I've remembered to state this yet in this video. Breaker attack does last through their deaths and revivals. So oh, I'm just going to attack with Alicia. Ah, and then she gets a critical at the worst moment. It's Dark Returner all over again. But at least she's free to attack. Oh, I slowed it. She's free to attack every turn, so. We did it. We did it. The mystery sample teaches Ivy Plague, which she will not be able to use against Craig and Brianna just because it takes too many BP. Tara levels up from that, which I'm okay with. But the main thing is, got the 2 hyper potions. Time to save. So I've
fought a few more battles just to restock on potion pluses. I've also got one graveyard fog from the Caritas, that's the brown-cloaked undead enemies. Liana levelled up more or less by accident while I was getting that, because in one of my battles they just died before I successfully got the steel. And I've changed my equipment round a little bit. Alicia has the silence touch, because it is so important to get and keep silence on Brianna. So this is going to be kind of the converse of the Illusioner battle. That one was all about luck in terms of avoiding the status it inflicted on me. This one is all about luck in terms of getting status on the enemy. Slow and silence, though, that was a great start until that happened. It's not a deal breaker at this point, though. Got darkness on as well, so this is a good start. Unfortunately, I don't have very many Phoenix Tears because I accepted more loss of those than I should have, really, in the Semeo battles. We'll see. I definitely want to use Breaker Attack on both of them. And I've just restocked on Potion Pluses, I should use them. So this is basically a damage rush. Try to take Brianna out as quickly as possible. She has about 5,000 HP. Any statuses that I can cast that I've forgotten to? I don't think so. Just go ahead and attack. Although one thing I should do is use this graveyard fog to inflict zombie. That means that once silence wears off, she cannot heal. She tried even though she couldn't. Excellent. No, get silence back on. I am thinking about... well, I was thinking about getting the steals. Doesn't matter now. But let's get Craig's at least, because his is a barrier and I need that desperately for the solo fight against Ben. Brianna's steel was of course a force field, and there was one in the chest just before the fight. So hopefully I can get along even without that. Tara's about to have a turn in which she can try to get darkness back on him. Ooh, got slow on him. Excellent. Darkness didn't take. This would be a good moment for blessing. Ha! Silence. That doesn't matter at all. Yeah, he's got all the statuses I can inflict except darkness. Try to get that back on. Not a huge problem if I can't, because at this point I've basically won. Okay, that was actually much less of a headache than I thought it was going to be. In my test runs I had so much difficulty with that fight. But I think what made the difference was being more careful with maximising my opportunities to inflict status. So I think that's a good place to leave it off for this episode, but I do intend to continue the low-level game, and since Namida has just released an update that includes the MyE ranges, I'm going to be going there next in the main video series, so see you for that.